Hello and welcome to Legal Talk. Hello guys. How's everyone doing? How was the past 2 weeks? I know I've been a little MIA. I've been super busy with midterms and school, and I was sick and my voice was all crappy. No, I did not have COVID. I was just sick with a cold. But anyways, moving on. Today we are going to be talking about marijuana. I think this is a very relevant topic because of the amount of use in marijuana, and a lot of people use it. A lot of people smoke it, and it's interesting to see why marijuana isn't legal in every state today because of the amount of people that actually smoke marijuana and actually recreationally use marijuana. So I think that was a very interesting topic that was brought up by one of my viewers. But yeah, we are going to talk about that. I did some research because, I had to with this topic. It's a lot of stats. So I wanted to make sure that I was really researching with this topic. But it's a very interesting topic, don't get me wrong, especially in the legal field. It's so interesting. So we are going to talk about it. So marijuana. Let's talk about the usage of it. What people use it for. So some people actually use it business, from a business aspect or business point of view. They would definitely plant marijuana and have some sales going on from there. Now, don't get me wrong, that is a genius idea, because of the high demand of marijuana usage. And people actually, you'd be surprised, a lot of people smoke marijuana, or they use it medically or recreationally, but looking at the aspect of why it's not legal in every state, what is wrong with marijuana, that's what we want to look at. Now, I'm going to be talking from a legal side right now. Basically, when it comes down to the legal side of marijuana, I'm having issues with my words today, but coming from the legal side of marijuana, and the topic of that, from the federal side, you would think that, oh yeah, we could just legalize marijuana, everyone would be happy. But no, negative. That is not true, because Republicans are actually not for marijuana. They are just not for it. And honestly, it's based off how a person grew up and how, you were raised culturally, because, sorry to say, but America has its own culture where, some people grew up hating drugs and not even, understanding the usage of drugs, of certain drugs. Or some people grew up as, drugs are okay. It really depends on the household you grew up in as well. So coming from that side, a lot of politicians are older people, and you have to look at the way that they grew up. Might be like, oh, drugs are scary, you should not be doing that, and they want to enforce that when it comes to politically, and that's the truth about it. So when we're looking at drugs, and most specifically marijuana, that could be a reason as to why it's not legal in every state. However, it also depends state by state. It's not federal level. Federally, it just hasn't reached to that point that everyone can agree to it, because honestly, this is a state by state situation where the state has to decide what to do with marijuana and the usage of it, and it's people that are using it. So same thing goes with the law enforcement. They have to do it state by state. Now moving on to the common factors of each state, because I actually looked this up. So my surprise, they put the usage of marijuana as, the age requirement as the same as drinking, which I find very interesting. I guess because when you're 21, you are actually mindful and aware of what something could do to you. However, I don't agree with that. I think that it definitely should be a slightly older age. And yeah, I just, there's some 21-year-olds that don't know what they're doing, or aren't aware of, what this could do to them. Now, that's just based on the person, though. So the common factor, though, between all the states that I'm going to mention is you have to be 21 and over to be able to smoke marijuana or have marijuana in your person if you do get caught by law enforcement. Because it can be a legal side to it, and you can get in trouble and you can go to jail, which is very harsh. But it's like driving and drinking, under the influence. So if you possess marijuana in your body, you will be charged as a crime or as a criminal. But let's talk about the states now, because this is like the fun part. So states where recreational marijuana is legal, and by recreational I mean, for fun, basically. Smoking, and I don't know what else you do with marijuana, but we are going to discuss the states now. So one of the first states, I believe back in 2012, I want to say, one of the first few states that legalized marijuana was Colorado and Washington. Now, Colorado's laws, though, are very interesting when it comes to marijuana. So adults over the age of 21 can possess and give away up to 1 ounce of marijuana, but they can grow up to 6 plants in their household. However, residences are limited to 12 plants, which I found very interesting. And however, though, marijuana is still illegal to use in public. So that's where I was a little bit confused at, because if marijuana is legal and you legalized it recreationally, doesn't that mean that you can use it in public? But apparently not. And then also, like I said, Washington was another state that legalized it, and their laws are basically that adults over 21, like I said, you're gonna see a lot of the states here, they have 21 and over, like I said, is a common factor. But basically the same thing. Washington has up to 1 ounce of marijuana can be possessed. However, 16 ounces of marijuana infused edibles in solid form, they can have that, and 72 ounces of marijuana infused liquid products. And hold on, there's more. There's 7 grams of marijuana that's concentrated. So isn't that super interesting? Okay, so in my head, because I know usually when you think of marijuana, you think of California for some reason. Well, I do. At least that's just me. I think of California because California is usually the first state to always legalize something crazy that all the states haven't legalized yet. But Washington, 72 ounces? I don't know if that's a lot, but it seems like a lot. However, it is still illegal to consume marijuana in public, and recreational users can't grow their plants at home in Washington. So you can have all that, but you can't do it in public or grow it at home. But you can have it in your person, which I guess in a way it's okay. Now moving on, just before I actually move on, I just want to say that when we're looking at numbers of states, because I'm going to be discussing the states right now, 18 states have approved recreational use for marijuana, and then 37 have approved it for medical marijuana. So that's an interesting number to look at, both of them. Super interesting. Now moving on to Alaska. So Alaska actually legalized marijuana back in 2014. Now they can give away up to an ounce. Same thing applies with the age 21 and over. But they can grow up to 6 marijuana plants, and only 3 of those plants can be fully mature. However, it's still illegal to consume it in public, which, again, I'm so confused by, because I feel like if marijuana is legal, you might as well just consume it in public. But that's just me. And then we have Oregon. Now, same thing. Up to an ounce of marijuana can be possessed if they are in public, and up to 8 ounces at home. Adults can also have up to 16 ounces of marijuana product. It includes edibles, any type of liquid, if it's in solid form, any type of like that. Well, actually in liquid would be 72 ounces, similar to Washington. So yeah. And, the list goes on and on with the states. To be honest, everything has their own rules. But basically, like, some people have, like, you can buy it, but you can't sell it. Which is interesting, because how are you buying? Someone's selling it to you, clearly. And that is in Vermont. Vermont actually has that. It's legal to grow and possess marijuana, but you cannot sell it, which is very contradicting. But that is supposed to actually change in October, so we'll see in 2022, next year. We will see if that changes, but I just think that's very contradicting to itself. Now, yeah, like I said, though, I actually want to look at Virginia, because I'm originally from Virginia. So because Virginia is so old school, I feel like marijuana would not be legalized, but I'm actually surprised that they made it legalized. Same thing though, 21 or older, and you can possess up to 1 ounce of recreational marijuana. However, the law does not allow residents to grow up to 4 cannabis plants, which is interesting. So growing the plants, because I want to discuss that, that's obviously from a business aspect, or if you just want to consume it yourself, then you're growing your plants, which, it's actually smarter, because you're saving a lot of money, I would assume so. But yeah, with all that being said, why isn't marijuana legal? Like, let's talk about it. And I really want you guys to leave me feedback. If it's, if you're listening on YouTube, go ahead and comment, your opinions on this, because I feel like this is a very good topic to talk about. Or if you're listening on well, you're not going to be listening on Instagram, but if you want to go ahead and follow the Instagram page, like I always say, go follow legal_talk_pod, and leave your comments on my last post that I posted, because it's going to be about this episode. Go ahead and comment, send me DMs, I'll read them. I'm really interested to hear other people's opinions on this, because you could be a marijuana user and you have a different opinion, or you could also be a non-marijuana user and have your opinion based off that. And everything is okay. I'm actually playing neutral right now. But yeah, it's super interesting to see the different states that legalize marijuana and the ones that haven't. And when you think about it, that whole thing that I said about the way that people grow up, Virginia is a very, very, we have a lot of Republicans there. So like I said, I would have assumed they would not legalize marijuana, but obviously they haven't legalized it to the point like Colorado did, or like Washington. Now, with that being said, things could change. A lot of things can evolve. The law evolves all the time. It changes all the time. I always hear it in school that, you can never see the same thing twice when it comes to law, because it's always changing nonstop. Now, the DEA, the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration, this is where we have to look at their point of view with it. Will they be able to handle people using marijuana illegally? No. Like, realistically, no, they wouldn't. Because it's like the gun laws, for example, to carry a gun and to buy a gun. A lot of the, I remember the federal government was actually saying, and I remember when, state by state, they were having issues with it because people will buy a gun and just no one would know about it, And same thing with the drugs. I feel like people can purchase drugs anywhere, anytime. And that is the truth about it. There's not a lot of places where they will keep track of, who's purchasing it or how old you are or anything like that. Obviously, if you're buying it from, if you don't want to get in trouble and you're buying it and stuff, then yeah, like, definitely check for age. But realistically, nobody does that. At the end of the day, business is business and money talks at the end of the day. So yeah, we are going to stop the episode right here, though. I feel like we had a little short episode. However, I didn't want to make it too long because I really do want to hear your opinions on this. I want to hear everything that you guys think. Go follow the Instagram. I really just want to know, different point of views on this. Because, yeah, research is one thing. Doing research is one thing. Saying that, weed is a terrible drug is BS because, it actually does help medically. And there are some benefits to using weed. So we have to look at that. And then we also have to look at the point that, yeah, some people do abuse the usage of weed. And they may be too young and they start too young. Some people, I remember looking at the article, someone started at the age of 13 until 17 continuously using weed or smoking weed. And, that's not obviously okay. But, yeah, there's just certain things that I really want to know what you guys think of. What do you think of this whole topic? Do you think weed should be legalized in every state, or why do you think so? Why don't you think so? There's so many things that go with this topic, so many factors. It's not just state, it is state by state, but it's just interesting versus, recreational versus medically, and whether you should have your medical card on hand because you want to smoke weed recreationally, or should you have your medical card to purchase weed. There's a lot of things that go with it. So yeah, go ahead, leave a comment, leave a like, and DM the Instagram page legal_talk_pod and let me know what you think. Share your opinions. I love to see opinions and I love to hear them, so please go ahead. Alright, you guys, well, I'm going to close out the episode right now. Hope everyone has a great day. I'm going to try to upload the next episode by Halloween, I want to say. It's spooky season, so, been busy with that too. But I hope everyone has a great week. Hope everyone has a great week. Stay safe. Be great and do your thing. Okay, I'm closing out. Bye, you guys. See you next episode.